Welcome back to Casterly Talk, little mini-sodes as we hang out with you. I'm Ken, that's Alden, and we're here just to kind of dive into the world of Westeros, songs of ice and fire. Alden, we've got a simple and direct question about romance today, right?
Indeed. I was thinking, this is a good show for lovers, man. Game of Thrones, it gets remembered for suffering. It gets remembered for blood and pain and death.
Yeah.
And bad things and some stuff that might even come up in some of these romances, but
sure,
it's got some love. When you're in it, you're in it. When it's good, it's good.
when you're feeling it, you and your sister are feeling it. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
Let me spoil who will not be chosen for this topic, at least by me. Jaime and Cersei, we have great love for you on this channel. Hi, Jaime. Hi, Cersei. It's not going to happen in this one. We cannot, in good conscience, choose you for best couple. There's just something about it that just doesn't click.
We're handing out awards at a GOT prom, and unfortunately, you guys are gonna have to wait outside. We're looking at best GOT couple, which we'll open up the House of the Dragon and anywhere you want to go with it. As far as book and show, as we do here off of Casterly Talk, we always kind of lean show. That's what's known more to the world, but also, we're here for the entire story, all the characters there. We're not ranking it. We're not doing 5-1 here, but just where do you go? Best, when I say, Alden, what is your favorite love story in Game of Thrones? What do you got?
The one that comes to my head and heart first is Jon and Ygritte. I am a Jon and Ygritte guy before I'm a Jon and Dany guy. I love Dany. Just completely different art. And
there's also some complicated familial ties in that too, but we'll put that aside.
You know what? We're gonna have to draw the line at sibling, and we're gonna have to allow. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to allow some uncle, niece, and aunt, nephew, depending on what era of Targaryen you're in here. But yeah, I think Jon and Ygritte has a little bit of the when Martin does decide to dip into like classic fantasy stuff, and he obviously usually likes to make it end in tragedy to make his point. But
sure,
there's that period there where they are these young people from two different worlds that have this arc of understanding and growth, and she changes Jon forever. And there's that part of him that, never leaves him, that carries him all the way to literally the last shot of the show of returning to that place where they had happiness and where he laid her to rest, the true north, that Tormund comments on, that Jon can never be a kneeler, but also for her, she dies, so you don't get to see the growth really cement. Maybe we don't get to know how she would have been later,
right?
But
south of the wall, yeah.
If she had been a part of retaking Winterfell, who knows what she would have done. But there's a softness that comes out in her when she doesn't have to just be a survivalist. There's a humor there that is sadly missing, not in a critical way, but just like it is sad that Jon's life is so devoid of joy, but for that brief few weeks there of having sex in the cave and like running around and save me, Jon Snow, and like pretending to fall, talking about putting her in a dress and like all that, and like there's something really cute about it that doesn't happen a lot in the show. Rob and Talisa, who we might also talk about, also have some of that too, of like, this is classic fantasy flirting right here.
Right.
These are heroes and their ladies out doing stuff, smiling, which is a not common thing in this world.
You're also reminding me just how wonderfully dark and bleak the show is, and probably why we all love it, right? Yeah, like there's not a lot of sun shining through, and I immediately go to Jon and Ygritte as well for the happy moments, the tra la 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 dress moment. I love that you kind of highlight that, but also these two characters go through so much change that unfortunately ends, and you're right, ends with only one going on, and we see the effect, we feel the effect. I go back to season 2 and early season 3 when I talk about Jon and his goals going forward. So much comes from that relationship, so much comes from her, and that is all of our first loves in a way. There's other characters we might bring up here, but I think even by the time we get to Dan and Johnny, even though Danny and Jon and Danny, but who's Danny and...
Nobody ever calls them Johnny Snow.
Dan and Johnny? Who's Dan and Johnny? I want to know who they are. But by the time we get to that relationship, it feels like a letdown, even though we like these characters. And again, familiar ties aside, there should be like the all-star team, right? Song of Ice and Fire. That's what we got going on here. It, to me, always did feel like not right and a letdown and out of place because of the legacy of John and Egret.
Yeah, and they both arrive at their romance with each other during such extreme duress, during this period of their lives where everybody's telling them that they are chosen for whatever context that is. Like, she is this woman that has defied not just tyrannical rule, but also literal, like, magical expectations. She has cheated death. She's brought the dragons back, and then she hears tell of this other guy who has also cheated death and all this, and who's come back, and this hero who's
literally,
united the wildlings. So it's like they are special, and that drives them together. But there's loss that hangs over it. Like, had Egret been alive, this would not be his path. For her, Drogo, like, that was the father of her child and her husband, and like she ended up finding an early sense of home with the Dothraki. So it is sort of like they are neither person's first choice, and they just feel like maybe they should be. And like there's some of that in the show, just like throughout, of people not getting what they want and that changing who they are romantically. I mean, that we joked about Jaime and Cersei, and like we're not picking them for best, but like that fundamentally ruins any potential for Jaime and Brienne. Like he can't see her as a full option, even though he does have love for her. He self-sabotages, willingly self-sabotages because of that.
Yeah, which I know we're not here to go into those plot points, but it's one that I understand that people didn't like, and it does happen kind of fast, and that's one of the criticisms with the final few seasons. I get that, but aside from that, I actually understood it, like not from something I've experienced, but just like that's a powerful pull that you couldn't break, and the stories, to me, the show's not saying it's right in that moment. It's just what this character did in that moment because of their connection. There's other great choices. We just almost have to run down a list of things, but I did want to mention, talking about like Jon and Egret and learning from each other and characters that find themselves when they need each other. Sam and Gilly becomes one of my favorite couples if you look through those eyes. Them, you're so rooting for them, and it's such again, tragic beginnings that you're getting Gilly out from under this horrible situation, but it stays. And even when like Sam does some heartbreaking things and got to leave and everything, but especially by the time it gets to his family, when he brings her home and the way she's treated, the way his family, the way his dad treats him, like it just made me love them even more as a couple. And in a world that doesn't have a lot of happy endings, I want to jump 10 years from now where they're just happy and they're the married couple everyone loves to hang out with.
Sam and little Sam, when he's we see him at the end that he's now the maester at the small council. Like, I want to believe that Gilly has beautiful quarters in King's Landing, and like that is really like like that's really one of the greatest like come ups, as they say. Like, from Craster's Keep to King's Landing is insane. That's an insane jump up in life. So,
just in terms of dwellings, but
good for her.
There they go. That's a great one there. Another one is you and I talk about this delicately as possible. Game of Thrones is also a wonderful thirsty show too, and it has that reputation, well earned, good or bad. But I think if there's a category for hot damn sexiest couple that we look up to, it's Oberyn and Ilaria Sand.
Yes,
and I still look at them as they played by their own rules, but definitely one of the best couples.
No, absolutely. I mean, the Dornish are, by the standards of this world, the progressives. They don't look down on, unions without marriage. They don't look down on bastards. They don't look down on big, expansive families. They're about free love. They have open queerness. Like, they are just like, they're the most modern of the couples. And down to his dying day, they were very sweet and romantic with each other.
Yeah. A lot of people looked up to them. What are some other ones that jump out to you that maybe I think our winner, it wasn't a competition, but our winner here today is Jon and Egret. I think the love that stands the test of time in Game of Thrones. But any other ones jump out to you?
If we go back in time to our House of the Dragon era, there's romance that permeates the show. There are some that, by implication, we know are great that we don't get to see, like Viserys and Emma, because she dies in the pilot and everything. You get the idea that it was great. I would say Corlys and Rhaenys is a model marriage and really depicted like a television marriage. There are several times where they are not on the same page and they actually talk it out, and we stay with them while they talk it out, and it's really oddly cool to see that happen.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I think that's why I like them as well. It's very realistic, and in a show that is at times high fantasy, I think I appreciated the fight, the discussion, the differences, Corlys coming around, the complications of just who he is and who she is. I think it was played so wonderfully well. It does remind me of Ned and Catelyn Stark too, in season 1, and just some of the, you talk about sources of joy early on. They are emblematic of a structure that's about to be completely destroyed by the story we're going on. But I remember on my early rewatches, even after the show, even in the early seasons of the show, you're going, oh, I'm getting ready for season 3. I'm going to go watch season 1. Right. I found so much warmth in just their existence as, the Starks of Winterfell and the heads of that family. I do love their marriage, and where they ended up with some complications that are still lingering. But talk about realistic couples. There's a great warmth that I pull from them.
Yeah. There's no warmth in Daemon and Rhaenyra, but I will shout them out because I love them individually. As a couple, it's a little weird. It's actually a lot weird.
Sure.
But there's a fascinating, almost like Targaryen specific brand of love that they carry from their old country. Talking about the Targaryens is like talking about the old lady who's like in old country. Like they really are that. Like they got married under the old ways.
We do things here differently.
Yeah, we don't do those blood marriages like y'all did.
Yeah.
They have this blood marriage. It's really weird. It's really contemptuous. They hate each other for most of season 2. But when he becomes a loyal husband again at the end of season 2, I get hyped. He raises the sword for every one of us who falls, 100 of them. It's basically John Mulaney going, "That's my wife." That's what Daemon turns into at the end. You want a husband with his passion, if not his bedside manner.
Absolutely. I think we were remiss if we didn't mention 2 relationships. One you had suggested off air that I think is great, and that is Marjorie Tyrell's relationships, right? One in particular.
Yeah. The series of relationships, which all comes down to, it's Marjorie Tyrell and the idea of being queen. It's her
best relationship.
Yeah.
It almost worked out.
She was really close. Marjorie Tyrell is an underrated player of the game because she doesn't play it from a sense of maliciousness. It's just earned arrogance, but with kindness as well. She protects her spot, to borrow a wrestling terminology phrase. And she was fine if it was Renly. She was even willing to work with the Joffrey situation. Didn't have to. But then was also fine with it being Tommen. She was like, whatever, I could deal with this kid. He's got a cat. I could do this life.
He's got a cat.
Whatever.
Sir Pounce forever.
Yeah.
I agree. I loved and love watching Natalie Dormer's eyes tell that story, that character, and that relationship to the throne, to the queenship, if you will. And then the final one, I think we'd have to mention, it is absolutely rife with the normal Game of Thrones, World of Ice and Fire complications. So we acknowledge that, but we're here to discuss it because I also get it, and that is Daenerys and Khal Drogo. Like, it starts in a pretty bad spot, but it ends up as a love story for the ages that people still held on to, including Daenerys.
Yeah.
It's her egret.
That loss defines her, and like, you don't want to always put the romance through the terms of what you lose, but it is that for her. I mean, the whole idea of my sun and stars, all that stuff that became iconic fandom talk, the fact that Jason Momoa tells fans like he doesn't like pick up any fan, but if you are cosplaying Daenerys, he will pick them up for a photo. Like, so it's like, that's his rule. If you are cosplaying my queen, I will lift you up. And like, that is like, because it became part of the language of like, it doesn't make sense when you start it, and he is so scary, and it is so new and horrifying for her. She is being sold. It's awful. But in him, she finds a humanity and realizes a cultural lesson. Like she can teach them new concepts. Like they don't even have, as we know from Jorah, the Dothraki have no word for thank you. Like they don't. There is no gratitude in their culture until Daenerys Targaryen teaches it to them. And conversely, she finds strength and community, and her first loyalists that survived the Great Grass Sea with her. So it's definitely again very complicated, and you don't want to simplify it down to like the sexual give and take of them, but that's part of it too.
Part of it too, and yeah, it's got that sweeping romantic edge that everyone's drawn to in these shows and series, and I totally get it. Well, those are some of our answers, and you know what? As a Jorah fan, I refuse to acknowledge Dany and Dario, but that could be a choice for some people out there too.
Yeah. Boo Dario. YouTube likes negativity.
Dario.
Boo Dario. That's our most negative take.
Purple beard or not, I boo all versions of Dario. Well, that's our thoughts, but we want to know from you. What are some of your favorite Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, World of Ice and Fire love stories? Share them here. There's a lot out there. We didn't talk about all of them. We want to hear from you. Thanks for watching, listening, subscribe, do all the wonderful things. We'll see you next time here on